Alright, so we're talking about the Mobula6 HDZERO edition from Happymodel. This is obviously their 65mm whoop, 31mm bi-blade propellers here, completely pre-built, of course. And I'm sure most of you guys are probably mostly interested in the little nano camera and the 1 to 3S whoop style video transmitter. And you can get those separately. I think they're on pre-order now at Pyrodrone and GetFPV. I'll link those in the video description. I think the if you get separately, it comes with like a metal cover for the video transmitter, I believe. I'm not sure if that's a heat shield or some sort of like RF shielding, whatever, but this one doesn't come with that. But otherwise, this looks pretty much like a Mobula6 with the 19,000 kV motors. This one here, you can see here, this one has the 19,000 kV motors, but has the bi-blade props instead of the tri-blade props. I think they went for an overall lighter setup here. I'll show you the way here momentarily. The flight controller here is kind of interesting. It's got that curve there you can kind of see. The motors are, or the motor wires are soldered on. And I believe this is the reappearance of this board here from an old UAV Eachine model. See the curved board there. And I think they called, I think this is called the Super B, I think, or something like that. Yeah. So that's what that board is. It's a 5 amp ESC. I'm sure they've made some modifications since then. It's quite a bit different. But the point is, this has no video transmitter on board. This one does have Express LRS on board, SPI receiver, so that's new. Obviously, the old one doesn't have that. So this one came with an Express LRS receiver with the antenna. The covers has the plastic shielding. It's a wire now, so they got rid of the SMD antenna and they got rid of the bare antenna. So people are complaining about that. So now they're back to the this silicone cover for the antenna, and that's the Express LRS SPI built in. The HDZERO video transmitter is 25 milliwatts and 200 milliwatts power switchable, 1 to 3S. So obviously here it's 1S. And then you got the nano-sized camera with a tiny camera, tiny lens there. And I believe it has the same sensor that was in the micro camera that I reviewed in this video here. So if you want to see some video samples from this camera, check it out. It's got a bigger lens and a bigger case, obviously 19 millimeters. So the low light performance is probably going to be a little bit better on the bigger lens, although the low light performance on this one here, the little one with the tiny lens, is pretty good. And of course, these both have the 4:3 sensor, which is the video that you'll be seeing. So for those of you who want the taller field of view, this is the camera that you're going to get. I believe these are the only two that have it. Let me know if there's another one that doesn't have that. Obviously, if you're watching this in the future and a new camera's come out, I probably don't know about it yet, but yeah, let me know if you say that there's a new one that has a 4:3 sensor and you're watching this 2 years in the future. Sure, let me know in the comments what that is. But as far as I know, these are the only two that have the 4:3 sensor currently. And quite honestly, looking at all the previous cameras that have come out for HDZERO, these two are the only ones that I would recommend. Basically, anything that came out before is probably a 16:9 sensor, and honestly, the video quality is just not as good compared to these latest ones here. I think these are both made by RunCam with the same sensor, of course, just have a different lens, and of course it's a lot lighter. In terms of the weight of the camera and the video transmitter, I believe it's 4.5 grams for the video transmitter, 1.5 grams for the camera, and if you get the with the cable and everything, the antenna, the whole bundled system is 7 grams. But the Mobula6 HDZERO here, as it comes out of the box, is 23.9 grams, about 24 grams. So yeah, it's definitely on the heavier side. Now I flew it with the 300 milliamp hour Happymodel battery, and that comes at 31.48, about 31.5 grams total weight. Now I did not fly it with any other batteries because I did try. The only other batteries I would try with the only other batteries I would try would be these nitro nectar batteries, but I can't get it to plug in. So they will fit in the tray, but because the battery lead's a little too short, I tried to bend it, just wouldn't go. So unfortunately, I was not able to try these batteries. These batteries are better. You're probably going to get more flight time on these, but I can't tell you what would be, obviously, without modifying this. Of the batteries I tried from Happymodel, these 300, which this does not come with any batteries. These came with a previous model. I think the Mobula6, I believe. These are pretty new. And I was only getting like 2 to 2.5 minutes of flight time, just kind of flying around the house, casual flying. Nothing too serious. You know, you might be able to get 3 minutes on a better battery. I don't have any. You might be able to get 3 minutes on this nitro nectar. Hard to say. You know, it has to do with the power draw of the video transmitter and also the weight of the quad. I did happen to notice that 200 milliwatts of power, it did have a little bit less flight time than a 25 milliwatts of power, which makes sense because this video transmitter, which draws a lot of power, is going to be drawing more power, and on this little tiny battery, you're going to reduce your flight time. So something to be aware of. I mean, otherwise, it flies pretty good. Platoon's fine. Very controllable. It's just, you know, it's on the heavier side and feels a little bit underpowered, and you have reduced flight time. But the advantage is you have the digital system here with HDZERO. Basically, you got their best camera and their 1S lightest video transmitter possible. So those are the things I think are obviously positives. But on this tiny little package with a tiny little battery, if you're looking for long flight times, this is not it. You probably want to move all these parts over to a 75 millimeter frame, to the bigger 40 millimeter propeller. That's definitely going to increase your flight time. I would imagine you're probably going to get, I don't know, maybe another minute of flight time, because you know, on the bigger frame, you're going to move up to the 450 size battery, so you can get more flight time that way anyway. Plus, it's going to be more efficient carrying that weight on the larger frame. So I'm guessing around another minute of flight time. So if you're looking for around a 3.5 to 4 minute flight time, I would definitely move these parts over to the Mobula7 V3 frame. That's the same frame that the Mobula7 the 1S version, which is analog, of course. You could move that, get that frame and move these parts over there and get sort of, you know, basically more flight time in a slightly larger frame. So another really important downside that you need to be aware of is that when you do reach the end of your battery, basically the video just cuts out. It doesn't like, the video actually cuts out before the quad falls out of the sky. So you might be in the, you know, somewhere flying along fine, and all of a sudden the video dies. It just goes to static, and then you have to basically kill the throttle or disarm and crash somewhere. So you have to be very aware of your voltage, and you may want to change your voltage alarm on this. I did not change that on this one. I just left it stock. And yeah, if you just leave it stock, and you'll be very surprised quite often. The battery alarm, the voltage alarm doesn't come on until the very end, and then it's very quickly, and then all of a sudden you lose video, and then you crash. And if you're not paying attention, that's something you'll be very shocked at. It's quite different from other analog quads, or the analog version of the Mobula6. Even when the battery dies, you almost always have video. This is the opposite. You will have the ability to fly, but no video. So be aware of that, and change your voltage alarm and remove it up to like 3.2 volts, I think, or 3.1 volts. I've had it cut off as early as a little over 3 volts, like 3.05 volts. Typically, the video will cut off around 2.9 something volts if you let it go that low. So just be aware of that. Plus, you're definitely killing your battery. So yeah, if if you take into account that you want to land earlier, you're probably going to really realistically looking at a 2 to 2.5 minute flight time on this guy, even on the best batteries. So yeah, again, we want to consider moving the parts over to a 75mm frame. Okay, well, that's going to do it for this one. If you're just looking for the camera and the video transmitter, those will be sold at Pyrodrone and Get FPV. I'll add those links in the video description. The Mobula6 HDZERO, you can buy that at Banggood and Makerfire. I believe Makerfire has them in stock currently, and Banggood will have them probably in about a month. So if you're looking to get it now, I would recommend getting it at Makerfire if you want to get it earlier rather than later if you're looking for the bind and fly. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. Talk to you guys in the next one.